Well, good day, good day, good day. Good day, good day, good day, all. And I would like to welcome you to another wonderful YouTube discussion and analyzing of various things in current events, but of course, with the edge supporting Harry and Meghan, right? That's one of my real favorite things. But I would like to say good day to all of you. If you are getting yourself started this morning and you want to sit back and have yourself a cup of coffee and enjoy listening to the podcast, that is wonderful. Of course, if you are out and about doing errands and you have in your headphones, I hope you don't mind spending a little bit of time listening to some of my varying thoughts. And of course, if you are a walker or a runner, please feel free to leave in the comment section how you're doing in that journey, how many miles you're putting in a day or a week. I would love to know because it encourages me to continue doing the same. Just as an FYI, this week I increased some of my walking distance anyway. Um, I just want to put that I'll add that also to the comment section. I added my walking distance a little bit, and we are now at 2 miles. Okay. Now, we may not do 2 miles every day, but we try to do 2 miles about twice a week. And this time, the time that it took was about, I'm going to say 45 minutes, right? Now, I'm probably going a little bit slow, but it was a nice walk. It was outside, the sun was shining, it was beautiful. So, of course, if you're out doing anything like that, any type of physical activity, just let us know a little bit about how you're doing and how you're moving on that journey. So, again, back to all for success. So, here we're going to look at a couple of things this week, and I'm not going to drone on all for hours and hours for no reason. But there are some things that caught my attention over the past week. And if you've been joining me from time to time, you'll know that I am a little bit more temperate on commentary and response to things that I see in the media spaces, in the news spaces, especially things that are laid out in front of us on YouTube and so forth. I don't respond or comment on them right away. I generally like to watch them cook for a minute. I like to find out if there's going to be any type of back and forthness or retractions of. And I'll give you an example. I know last week, okay, so let's back up a little bit. About a week or so ago, there were numerous discussions concerning, of course, we're going to go with what the UK tabloids were all in Twitter about. They wanted everybody to focus on the fact that Meghan was going to be attending the Taylor Swift concert, or that they perhaps had this scoop that she was going to be attending the Taylor Swift concert. The interesting thing about that, that I want, I just, of course, this is a chance to think about it and analyze it. I'm not sure why they are intent on always having the scoop on Meghan and Harry, or why they are always insistent upon publicizing what they think Harry and Meghan are doing, right? It's just an interesting, what do I call it? It's one of those things that makes, like Arsenio Hall used to say years ago, it's the type of commentary that makes you go, hmm, you have a slight feeling of wonder. What exactly are they trying to do? And when it comes to the tabloid media and some of these YouTube spaces or Twitter spaces or Instagram spaces, and definitely lately TikTok spaces, we have to take a tiny moment and ask ourselves, hmm, what is this feature trying to make me do or think, right? So, for example, in my presentation here, I want people to have a little bit more of a positive outlook on some of the things and trends that they're seeing in today's news and in today's current events. Even if those current events are negative and devastating in some circumstances, my objective in chatting about them is to add a little bit of comfort and support in what may be happening or what may be going on, right? So I hope that when people tune in here, that they sense that's where I'm going with this, right? Now, a thing that might be noticeable is every now and then I'll throw in a bit of what they call esoteric thought or knowledge. Um, And I don't want to challenge ever anyone's faith or anyone's support systems, whether they be the type of faith they have or their particular um, areas of encouragement. What I do is I lean on my own background, and sometimes I may point out a particular aspect of faith from my own background, something that I pull out of my own history. So I don't want that to turn off someone else, and I don't want that to make someone else angry. But I sometimes want to let people know where might be the origin of my thought process. Okay, that said, hey, please like, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope you can go out and encourage a couple of friends who might be like minded to also join in. I am still a little bit flummoxed on how people get the numbers that they get so high. I'm not quite sure what I'm missing. I'm going to keep working on it, and I think there's some things I need to do because I'm so new to the game. There's a lot more, a lot of areas of support that I'm not yet using, but I'm going to get there. So, yes, please like and subscribe. Now, that being said, I have here is where I want to take my conversation. So let's see if I can get my slides up, processing, and going in the right direction. Let's see. I don't know if my slides are there. I hope they are. Let's see if you can see them. All right, all right. So here's where I always like to begin in thought process. Who we're looking at? That's Harry and Meghan, right? So that's who we're looking at, right? And if you were brand new to the space and brand new to the world, what you are aware of in the general media is that Harry must have done something incredibly awful to the members of the royal family. Okay, that's if you were brand new to this whole game, that is what you are aware of. Now, on top of that, you are also aware that Meghan, who is his new bride, is somehow the stimulation or the catalyst for all of this awful, evil, hateful stuff that Harry has done to the royal family. Correct? Now, if I ask anyone, even the people who say this in the tabloid media or people who say this in general, name the top three things that Harry did to his family, right? In other words, who did he kill? Who did he beat up? Or whose children did he destroy? Right? Whose property did he steal? In other words, what is this action that Harry has taken that has been so cruel to the royal family that it will, in fact, blow up the entire organization? Well, the problem is you're probably not going to be able to get an answer like that because you're simply being fed a narrative about a feeling you're supposed to have. The people in the UK and those who are affected mostly by these large media entities, Australia, UK, Canada, they just know they're supposed to hate Meghan and the fact that Harry brought this new wife into the firm, that she's a monster. That's just all you're supposed to really know. You're supposed to start from there and then move out. The only problem with that is that real people, peasants, right? Commoners, and all of those names that the royal family would use to describe the masses. The problem is that in and around in that arena, people feel differently. People feel like, well, he seemed like a nice guy. He's done some great things. We like him. And they are fighting right now an uphill battle against that. And it's amazing because people are beginning to wonder what in the world is going on because because they are with a fire hose deluge pushing out daily 3 and 4 channels deep, 3 and 4 tabloids deep, multiple social media angles. They are pushing out constantly. Every hour, there is a new revelation or story that has been recycled about something that Harry has done to this family. Now, from the point of view of us that are supporters, here's what we have seen. What we see is a young man who lost his mother under very nefarious circumstances. We are looking at a circumstance where the spouse of this individual, his mother, who was lost to us, that her spouse was cheating on her at the time and before. And what we're seeing is she was cheated on, she was neglected, her children were basically set aside and cared for by an institution. And the father went off to seek console um, from his consort, who was the woman he had been cheating with. That's what we see. But somehow we have a media front that is trying to make us see something else. Okay? So, with that said, I don't think we're going to see something else. But they are fighting tooth and nail to try and have the world see that they are the ones that are supposed to be sad and hurting. But I want you to know, I don't know about the rest of the planet, but that is not going to go over well with me. And I think what's happening is that the panic is setting in, the lawsuits have been happening, the media is now a little bit more under surveillance, their behavior, the things that they have been doing over the years, how they have been proceeding, and some of their key players are being absolutely brought out into the sunlight. So the likes of characters, Pierce Morgan, our favorite, Dan Wooten, or whatever his name is, Camilla Tominey, all of these personalities, Angela Levine, and you can write these names down because you will see these figures all through the media. And they're out there with their statements and their thoughts and their viewpoints on how the monarchy should operate and who should be in and who should be out. And so we're now pulling the mask off of these people who are the presenters. And it is becoming quite obvious that for some reason, they are heavily financed to tell the story that they tell. And from where that finance comes, we're not sure. But slowly, the veil is lifting. Now, here's where I go with the esoteric part. For those who are into um, a biblical perspective, we are always warned in the revelatory chapter of a coming time when things will be revealed. There is always a mention of a period of time in our history or in our future where there is a force that will always try to hide information, and they will always try to manipulate the masses into believing certain things, but that eventually it will be almost impossible to keep these things hidden. And so, in a revelatory sense, we will start to see behind the curtain, as was stated in The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you all remember that show. I hope you do, because it was really famous. Um, but the whole point was that everything happening in the city of Oz, which was supposed to be gleaming, glorious, and beautiful, that you find out that there was a culprit behind the curtain, pulling the strings and keeping things looking like they were wonderful and fantastic and fabulous. But in reality, it wasn't exactly that way. So that is what we're being taught. We're kind of in that space, I believe, that we are getting and inching upwards towards a time when things are being revealed. Now, here's the key, here's the catch, people. Again, back to back to a biblical perspective. The key is we've also been told and we've also been warned that most people will be fooled. All right? Now, that is unfortunate, right? Because sometimes you will then question what it is you're thinking. And you'll wonder, well, am I on the right track? Right? Am I thinking the correct way, or are all these other people correct? And that is what we're going to be fighting with. And that's throughout our lives. That's not just in this particular circumstance. But we're going to have to be very cautious about what we consume in the media. We're going to have to be very careful that what you're looking at, what you're being fed, that you go out if you can, make a few phone calls if you can, or read some other things if you can, and if at any opportunity that you have, seek out the source. For example, just back to that story about Meghan attending Taylor Swift's concert. It's not that and from my point of view, I know some people are not Taylor Swift fans. I have no problem with Taylor Swift particularly. I don't know much about her. She's so young. I'm not familiar much with her music. But Taylor Swift would be a concert that I'm sure people who are celebrities would love to attend. It would be like going to a Beyonce concert. Oh my goodness. Almost anybody who is anybody would love to attend that concert. So that doesn't surprise me, nor would it be a concern, which, i.e., I wouldn't think that it would be newsworthy. But for whatever reason, it was newsworthy. Now, we did not see any announcement of this happening anywhere in the Harry and Meghan media sphere. Like, we didn't see an announcement on the R12 page. We did not see a new tab added to any type of social media. Even though she may be delivering a new product or returning to her product of the TIG, we haven't seen anything that has announced, hey, the TIG is coming out. And by the way, Meg's going to a Taylor Swift concert. We haven't seen anything like that. So from the source, we have not been able to extrapolate that information. Now, is it possible that she went? Sure. But we haven't seen anything from the source. So you have to be very careful to then move forward repeating that information and making a lot of storyline out of that information when you have no source material to to go back and look at, right? We just don't. So that is what I'm saying. I think that's where we have to kind of make our approach a little bit more careful, pay more attention, especially as biblically indicated in these revelatory times, because the deceiver, okay, the deceiver is out there to create nothing but confusion. And of course, their purpose is always a little bit more clouded and operating at a level that the common folk may not be aware of. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there and blather on about that. But I hope you all get where I'm coming from. Of course, in the background, right? So we have to pay attention to that. So anyway, now for things that are a little bit more upbeat, and we're going to talk about because now they have sort of the source material has come out and the background is a little bit more known. So let's take a look at some of those things. All right, this is a picture here of Prince Harry, and he's currently seated with the Prince. I think his name is pronounced Seso, Prince Seso of Lesotho, who is his co-founder in the wonderful product Sentabali, that foundation. Now, all of you are aware that Prince Harry went, and I say all of you are aware, that's of course talking to the Super Squad, that Prince Harry had an opportunity to play in a polo match recently, he and his favorite friend, Nacho, and their polo game is a supporter of Santabali, which is a foundation that has done a lot of work helping children of HIV. And so they started and founded this product way back in 2011, and they have continuously worked and tried to do fundraising to keep like the little hospitals and the little clinics and the people who support the children going. And it was a wonderful polo match and a wonderful opportunity. And this is Prince Seso, who he has worked with for many, many years. And I tell you, just as a general citizen, I do hope that they get to continue their work and to continue keeping that foundation running. Because, of course, we all know in the background, right? In the background, those who are in and around the royal family will try to reach their hands into every aspect of what Harry and Meghan are doing, and they will try their very darndest to pick it all apart, right? So if they can reach in and somehow flip Sentabali upside down so that they can say, oh, see, Harry's a failure, then they will do that. But at this point, we're going to stick with, hopefully at this point, it will continue to rise and they will continue to do good work. And so this is him and Prince Seso seated. What I thought was interesting is Prince Seso, of course, is the younger brother of the king, right, of Lesotho. And I believe his name is King Lethi or Lacy, something similar. If I'm, again, pronunciations, I need to visit Africa so I can learn to say it properly. But his brother is the actual king. And I thought that was interesting because in their history, that would mean that Prince Harry and Prince Seso were both second sons, right? So that makes or even on farther down, but that makes an interesting collaboration because both of them would have known what it feels like to be brother to a king or a king in waiting. And I think that is pretty fabulous. And yet, the two of them decided, well, hey, there is something that we can do. There is something wonderful that we can add to help and support other people. And that's what we're going to try to do. Now, that is something that we all are so we applaud because it is a wonderful opportunity. This photo was of some of the choir members when they were originally setting up things in Santabella. This is years and years ago, and some of the children that Harry has worked with. So as you can see, again, his personality is just phenomenal. It exudes, it just exudes so much enjoyment of other people. He seems to be able to reach people, and that is a wonderful quality. And of course, Prince Harry having this quality is a real problem for the current day royal family. It is something that they want to control, but they don't really want him to have it. They are really in a very precarious situation. And it is interesting that that is the way that in other words, that embodiment is also elevated by the staff that are in and around them and all of the people that work with the royal family, that they encourage this level of animosity between family members. I'm not sure what that's about, but it is an interesting situation. And if we were watching a movie, like from the ancient times, this is how they end up encouraging one family member to execute and take over a kingdom from another. I mean, these people and their mentality basically has not changed. So, again, here are some of the young people that were a part of some of the work groups that he worked with while he was in Lesotho. So, that is, of course, Harry and the type of work that Harry does, which from his youth, this is why he is being in the middle of all of these accolades from the success of Santa Bali and its presentations. And we're going to keep hoping that he continues to go and grow in that direction. Of course, what's upcoming is this wonderful opportunity that everyone is getting ready for, and that is the Invictus Games. And they're coming to Dusseldorf. So they're going to be hosted in Germany. And in Germany, they're going to carry a lot of the Invictus Games going on. And I think people who can attend are just mad excited and can't wait to go there. So I'm not going to be attending, but I definitely will have my fingers crossed and I'll be perhaps tuned in and watching portions of it as it is being displayed. But everyone is excited about the upcoming Invictus Games. And right now, they have quite a bit of a following and quite a bit of support. And we think they're going to really come off really well. Now, in contrast, here's the contrast. Right now, the women's soccer club out of England is has made it all the way to what is going to be the World Cup equivalent for the women. Now, I mean, for those of us in the US, we remember when our US soccer team was going doing super super well, mowing down people and just, kicking it. And they were doing really really well in the soccer championships and they did a super job because here in America it really brought to light the wonderful ability of some of the female soccer players. It was fabulous. And so it did bring a lot of attention to how women's sports operate and how women's sports might be seen by many people. There's a lot of discussion about the money involved, how much women in professional athletics are paid as opposed to men. And there is a lot of discussion as to why that might be happening. And one of the key things is, of course, with women's sports, how much attention is drawn to those sports. In other words, how many eyeballs are watching it, how much money is going into it, like can they sell out stadiums? And so these type of discussions are all a part of sometimes the negativity that is surrounding women's sports. And so that same conversation is happening in England, I'm sorry, in the UK at this time that their team, I believe they're called the Lioness, their team has made it to the World Cup and they are right now getting ready to defend or shoot for that championship. That's a big deal. For any country to be able to back a team that is about to win the World Cup, that's a huge deal. So here is the contrast and comparison. You would think that as high a level officials as you could get, right? Or as high a level of representatives as you could attain, that they would attend the World Cup for the women's team, right? For example, Kate Middleton is supposed to be presented to us as this wonderful, athletic, supercharged, ready to go female who is all down for all things sporty. So, wouldn't you think she would be on her way to the World Cup to represent the U? I mean, which is representing the UK? Or wouldn't you think that Prince Harry, who's not there, but Prince William, I'm sorry, since Prince William is actually the president of one of the actual athletic board, he's wearing that title. Remember, a lot of these people, they have labels, but they don't actually do the labor. But if he's wearing that title, wouldn't you think that maybe he would jump over there and say, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to be at that game. My God, we're at the World Cup." After all, look at the firsts. It's the firsts of your UK women's team getting all the way up to the level of the World Cup. It's a first, a major attention on women's sports. Look at it's just so dynamic. And yet, the key personnel who would be able to brag about this the most, representing the UK, well, either they're unavailable or they just didn't didn't make plans to attend and can't change their plans to attend. So we are going to see how this plays out. We're going to stand back and we're going to watch, and we're going to see if someone rushes over at the last minute. But it's an interesting dynamic that they are putting on these shows of trying to do everything that they see Harry and Meghan succeeding in. They immediately run out and try to do the same type of thing. You would think that the first place they would have run would have been to the Women's World Cup. Harry is getting ready to come down with Invictus after just playing polo, which raised $1 million for Santa Bale. So you would think that, oh, if you're going to be copying me, right, and imitating my success, well, it seems like you would have jumped on a plane and immediately showed up to take a photo op with the Women's World Cup team or the challenges at the World Cup, or at least been seen to be out there handshaking and backslapping the UK women's soccer team. Of course, that's you as a cop. It's just when you look at what these people have their royal entities doing or not doing, I don't know if they're infighting. I don't know what is going on in their midst, but the decisions that they are making are phenomenally ridiculous. So now Prince William is getting all this backlash in the media, and so is Richie, the Prime Minister, Sunak. They're getting all this backlash because it appears that neither of them will be supporting the Women's Cup in person, right? And it's being held in Australia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're going to have to wait, take a moment, take a breather, and we're going to have to see how this all plays out. Because to be honest with you, I would love to see Harry and Meghan just show up. It would be phenomenal, and it would tear the place apart. But I'm sure they're not going to do that. But if I were to go to sleep and dream, my dream would be the World Cup final would be happening, the UK women would win, and Harry and Meghan would be seen in the stands. And I would just fall over in the floor screaming, okay? But this is what's going on their side of the wall, whereas Harry is over here getting ready for Invictus. And I'm hoping that Invictus will be phenomenal. I really do, because it is a worthwhile and worthy cause. So everyone is supportive of the military, and they're definitely supportive of anyone in the military who has suffered an injury and has to come back from that injury. That is a tough road. But, when they have the heart of constantly trying to perform and to do better, then that is what Harry said is the heart of Invictus. Okay, so finally, again, folks, please like and subscribe, show your support for the channel, and please join in and listen to it on the replay. Send me some comments, please, as I am trying to figure out what I'm doing and learning how to do this. So I love the encouragement, and I really appreciate all of you that can listen in when I come online. Now, this photo here is who is coming new to Invictus, I believe, this year. They have 24 teams, or I'm sorry, 24 countries, I believe, that will be represented. And this time they're adding in Nigeria and I believe Colombia also. I don't have a picture of them, but I believe there are a couple of other countries that are coming online that have participants in Invictus. And oddly enough, there were even some participants coming in from Ukraine. So we will see how that plays out. I know this. I'm excited. We're going to stand by. And I think Harry and Meghan actually will be a little bit low key until time of Invictus. Unless of course, there is something cooking in the background with Meghan. And I tend to think there may be because she only pops out in a paparazzi photo on the way to someplace or on the way back. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm standing by and I'm waiting for it because it sounds like to me there may be something exciting happening in the winds. In the winds. So we're all standing by to hoping to hear about that. At least I know I am. We're going to see if she can have some real fun or something to keep us excited and waiting for it. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I could not copy the entire, I could not copy the video, of course, of the Invictus trailer, but I wanted you all to know that the trailer, I thought it was fan freaking tastic. So as we exit today, as I get ready to go off today, I'm going to attempt to at least play the trailer video. I mean, the trailer, what do you call it? Audio portion. I don't know if it will play properly, but I'm going to attempt it. Now, if I can't, wait, did that work? Okay. If I can't get it to work properly, I want you all to at least watch the Invictus trailer and listen to Harry's voiceover over the Invictus trailer because even listening to it for me, it was inspiring. So I know that this is going to drive the UK tabloid media plus the royal family and their vindictiveness. It is going to drive them crazy because Netflix is getting ready to put out the wonderful documentary Up to Invictus. And I think it's going to make them mad because they hate the fact that anything Harry and Meghan touch is actually in the works. They can't stand that. All they want from them is absolute failure. And it's unfortunate because anyone can have a failure or a bad time. That could happen to anyone. But what's driving them insane is that they appear to be thriving and they can't stand that. So, as we are leaving here today, and you are going to push like and subscribe, you're also going to tell us how you're doing on your fitness journey, right? Lastly, and then you're going to listen to the trailer as we exit out of the broadcast for today. And I want to thank you all again for participating, and thanks again for participating in this channel. And as other information comes along, and as we can verify that information, I will have a discussion about it and put something out about it. But I encourage all of you, pay attention to what you're seeing and hearing. Take a minute, take a beat, take a pause, and then at least give it a second for things to be verified and followed up on. Because I tell you, the landscape today, they're just pushing out as much trash as they can and hoping people pick through it, only to get one picture. And that's usually a negative one of everything. All right. So let's see if Harry can tell you about Evictus. See if you can hear it. Okay, it would appear that that did not work well. So let's try that again. You want to? Okay, it would appear that that did not work well. So let's try that again. All right. Sometimes people, we have technical difficulties, but we are going to work through them. It may take a moment, but we're going to figure out a way to see if we can process this information. So hopefully I can get it to work. All right. So we're going to try this a different way. And let's see if we can get it going that way. All right. So stand by. Stand by one moment. All right. Let's see if we can get this trailer to you like this. How about that? Let's hope you can hear it.
Games that you realize whatever you carry, it was the springboard that propelled you to the next level. The games doesn't focus on what causes the injury, but really about the recovery and how to be part of a community again.
When I was a soldier, that meant the world to me. Once I was wounded, how do you define yourself then? What was that hustle? I've been fighting a long time. Just drinking a lot, going out a lot. I have flashbacks. I would like to be the father playing with his kids, playing football.
Аби відновитись, мені потрібен Евіктус. Але війна не дає нам розслабитись. Буде війна, буде воювати. Нет війни, мажем бутерброди. Все просто.
90% of my team are currently serving 4 to 5. There is a shelling.
If your goal was to make your country proud, you've done it.
How are we doing?
Everyone's going to struggle at some point.
I had demons saying, you're not going to do this.
If your goal was to make your family happy, you've achieved it.
My dad just scored that.
Clearly someone sees something in me.
You are people of substance, of resilience, of strength. You have the heart of Invictus.